不是，我们应该是已经串上去了。谢谢。
就我在这边可以看得到吗？
嘿嘿，你那个 YouTube 应该看得到了，串上去了。
看得到。
嘿嘿嘿。然后不是您还要再按一下开始直播？
我要按开始。
对。那个 YouTube 现在你的画面应该是切断。
压榨他们，压榨他们，他们有新的人什么？我记得没有，我这里是那个魏老师，魏老师是我们的同学，他其实很会想，老师也在帮我们看是这样的，然后老师是很好理解自己的那个，而且日文有日又有老师，他这个运动其实还是那这个是生活方法。
其实我跟你讲哈，那个对，或者你这个嘛，其实可以去做那个在版，这样子比较稳定。因为是你流传推广的，
我们这个其实这个故事其实很长，所以其实我们要做
对，再做一些对，人家要不然这样子太
这个就是告诉大家是真实所在，就是原版这样子的。所以那个谁是你在上去了，看你刚才都是看得到。
你说传上去吗？
我看到了9月26号。好，今天那个是，那我跟我的那个老师，拿开他。
波兰人说的很高。
那我们这个要上线了，
对。
消费者电子讲起来。
好，只有这个线上嘛，可以精华到。好。就你们也可以打开。
有什么会跳掉了这样？
那个这边是有2块克风，所以你再开，
他们下线了。
咖啡。红茶对，
today we shot that on the coffee and the Yeah, please.
And have a seat, please. Any place with the materials. Please, and any materials here.
You got your phone? Okay. Next week you'll be free again. That's all it is.
And everyone, here's a coffee, tea, and water, so please enjoy yourself, and we will take the cups in front of you later. So yeah, no worries.
Thank you. Sorry about the photo.
Waiting for a dark memory of Taiwan today. I'm going to take our phone cameraman place.
You're not nice, it's messy.
You can have a seat there. Anyway. Yeah, just have a seat here. This one. That one with the flags is me. Right? Watch yourself, right?
Sorry. Yeah, we can go there. I do something. Maybe. I just want to sit my seat.
Coffee or tea, both of you? Or
Coffee or me?
tea?
Oh, tea is fine. Tea is
Tea. Okay, sure.
不要看一下我手机。我没有。
好，谢谢。
So you go to 中华电信 today? You go to China Telecom today? 中华。
Do you guys need information?
The white one? No?
No. Yeah, I love the coffee.
So you're okay with your phone contract now? I mean, 600 is about the right price for me. I think so. I think it's a good deal. And Chongqing is the best connection I pay.
对，直播现在还没开始，因为它有
那个印度还没有串。
哎，老师，不是我们遗传的啊？
不是为什么它是
这个画面为主，
这个画面？
哪个画面？
哦，出来了，有没有看到？老师看到？没有。
This week I'll talk about Chinese breakfast. It will be free. What? Dumpling? And I think here so we can cook. I'll cook something maybe. Maybe not dumpling. Maybe I'll make some. Do you know? Have you been to Miami? A very local Chinese breakfast shop. I mean, you can see it anywhere.
我可以请大家看英剧，我看。
Maybe later. I think it's about to start.
有啊，有看到，有哈，我们是用手机拍的。好多设备，看，我会再看，对。好，应该看到啊，现在就在看。那我这边就。
Understand? I think they have English translation. I mean, the local page.现在是用这个 Caroline 的手机啊，自己还跑不动。
大家稍等一下。
差不多29了，不是29分了。
是我开始开场吗？因为我没有按开始。大家稍等，快点开始。Hello everyone, thank you guys for joining us today and tonight. And we are going to talk about some of the dark memory when you hear the sad sound. Okay. 可以关静音吗？对，请帮我关一下静音。对。So when you hear the sad sound, you will know today we are going to talk about the dark memory in Taiwan as vision of social innovation. And we gladly welcome the social innovation of the 暖暖客厅, which is very important in her ESG field with Germany. And so later on we are going to talk about several of her stories because she is one of the white terror victims' family member. So later on we are also going to talk about how his father was captured and what's going on afterward when his dad got captured. So, yeah. But everything before we start, we still need to let you guys know because we, Dahua Chinese, has changed the place we hold this activity, right? So thank you guys, even we changed the place and still following us. Very thankful for us. And another thing is, this place is actually our office. Our office is at the second floor, and we have joined some of the plan with government so that we got this place. And if you are looking for a bathroom, it's right away. Just go right down. You will see the bathroom, both female and males. And we're going to photo everything. So please smile when you see the camera as well. And please mind your personal belongings with you. And if you want some coffee, tea, or water, there's the cups and everything for you to go. So please just easy to take it. Okay. So we are going to introduce what is Dahua Chinese. We believe a better understanding of each other makes the world a better place. So we're going to introduce more deep and interesting Taiwanese and Chinese culture to all of us, and we wish to make more mutual understanding between the world and us.
可以关掉那个声音。是哪里来的？是我自己，是你们这边的。Okay.
So why I found Dahua Chinese? Because I found the materials the second language Chinese teachers are using are all rigid and very conservative. So as a Mandarin Chinese teacher, when I was in America, I suffered and tried very hard to search many materials. But I found there's less materials from Taiwan and China. So I can hardly find the materials that I really want for. That's why I focus on how to teach the students. And I found that the students always focus on their interest and they want the materials to be intriguing, and they would like focus on their output when they're going to intermediate and intermediate levels. So Dahua Chinese is holding many kinds of events, traveling, but afterward we face the the COVID-19. So the quarantine happened. We need to stop all the planning of the trip.
So we changed our mind to make really renewable materials. Just the Dahua Chinese biweekly magazine, as you see there in the first stack there. But after that, I found that there are many features in the institutions. They are still very conservative. So I'm trying to make a revolution from the learners. The learners really want something new, interesting, and intriguing. So we're holding many events for every learners to know what we are going to talk about in the biweekly magazine and what Dahua Chinese believe. Okay, so this is our magazine here, and there's some hard copy for you guys to take a glance, but not to take away. So please don't take away of them. But if you really like them, please, we have the charge for per copy. Okay, and if you subscribe our newsletter, you will have the first free trial for one. Okay, so Dahua Chinese is going to help culture events and culture and language learning website for a platform for you guys to subscribe. Another thing is we will welcome you guys to join our cultural course in the future. So this is our imitation of the Dahua Chinese platform. And we wish this is the platform that all the Chinese and Taiwanese knowledge, materials, courses, and cultural events you are looking for. And we provide a choice different from Confucius Institution description of Chinese culture. So it is our team, and today we have me, myself, and Kuan Yuan here. Okay. And we are also looking for investor, donation, and expert lecturers, or volunteer for us to promote the Dahua Chinese event for more and more people to come and join us. Okay, and the next event, we are going to talk about the Taiwanese breakfast experience, and also will be held here. And Kuan Yuan is going to be a lecturer. Who is excited for this? Raise your hand, please let me know. Nobody? Okay, thank you guys. Hey, don't make Kuan Yuan sad, okay? Okay. Next. So today, what the material you already have on the desk is actually what is Taiwanese lecture. So Taiwanese lecture is actually very different from others because we are actually a place that has experienced many kinds of colony. So many different languages we use. And we have different kinds of cultural affections. So the first of all, there are Netherlands people came, and then Spanish, and then Qing dynasty, then the Japanese. So several of our grandpa and grandma, they probably think they are still Japanese. And that's very different from nowadays. Like my parents think they are Chinese. Like in my generation, most of the youth think they are Taiwanese. So people are different in every generation, and it shows in the literature works as well. So we will briefly release about this video. Wait a second. Let me make all the adjust. Okay, sure.
台湾文学是什么？台湾文学是什么？许多人把台湾文学当作中国文学的一种，但其实台湾文学和中国文学很不一样。台湾文学是在台湾出生或住在台湾的人的文字作品，或是表现台湾生活、文化、人物的作品。在台湾有许多不同的民族，除了汉人以外，还有阿美族、布农族、萨族等原住民。这些歌曲也是台湾文学的一部分。虽然它语言传统曲有自己的文字， 了1683年，朝统治了台湾，才有人用汉字记录原住民的生活文化和歌曲。1895年，清朝因为输了甲午战争，所以把台湾送给日本。在日本的统治下，有些人用日文写作，也有些人用台语写作。1945年，第二次世界大战结束后，台湾人在国民政府的统治下，开始用中文写作。因此，现在想要研究台湾文学的人，除了中文以外，还要学习日文和台语。张良研究台湾学的者之一，也搜了说台湾的作品。1949年到1987，因为府认为这些品影响他们的统，而把这些品做书。因搜这些作品的张良泽教授上了国民政府的黑名单，他必须到日本才能继续研究台湾文学。1997年，真理大学成立了台湾第一个台湾文学系，邀请了张良泽教授成为台湾文学系的系主任。在张良泽教授的保护下，许多台湾文学的作品才能保留到现在。这些作品不但是研究台湾文学非常重要的资料，也是让大家了解台湾生活文化的重要记录。
Okay, so this is in our intermediate level of the Dahua Chinese Biweekly magazine. And okay, so we are going to our theme today. So actually, after the World War II and the Chiang Kai-shek, which is 蒋介石, the 蒋介石 had a civil war with Mao Zedong, right? Everybody know who is Mao, right? And there are about 2 million of soldiers and people came to Taiwan from mainland China. Imagine that it is 2 million people, so much people were there. 军人 is soldiers. 人民 is people. So they are all 人, people, right? 军人 and 人民. But in their big China content, they think Taiwan is one of the province. So province is 省. Everybody say 省. 省. Right. So 省. There in mainland China, there are 山东省, 四川省, 黑龙江省. Right. So 省 is province. And in their thoughts, Taiwan was a 省. So there are Taiwan 省. So there are people from out of the province, which is 外省人. Please say 外省人. 外省人. So 外 is out of the province. 外省人. And there are about 2 millions, and there are 军人 and 人民 in these people. And another, the people who already lived in this Taiwan 省 is 本 original. 本省人. Please say 本省人. 本省人. So these two kinds of people have so different way of living, their culture, and what they believe in. Like several of 本省人, they think, we study the Japanese education literature since we were very little. But for some of the, but for mostly the 外省人, they think we are Chinese. So, but some of the 本省人, they think they are Japanese, but some of them think they are Chinese. So there was like hey, we back to the mother country. So they just say, hey, welcome you guys, 外省人, just come back and take Taiwan back to China. Welcome you guys. Some of the 本省人 think of this, but some of not. So there are just two kinds of gaps already. But many 外省人, they are from mainland China. So mostly they are uneducated actually because they are just grabbed by the soldiers and just take it directly to Taiwan. So many of them are would like to pee in front of the road or something else. But some of the 外省人, they have a very high level of education. So they probably will be the government, work for government, or they are nobles. So, there are so many kind of status from in the 外省人. So you can see there are so many different kinds of conflicts they will have. So they got fight. Like some of the 外省人 think they would like to eat dogs. But for 本省人, dogs is our partner. Why you eat dogs? So probably you're lucky or happy, your dogs just disappear. And one day you probably will find your neighbor, which is 外省人, eating the meat. And they was like, what the? It would be so different. So the hatred is like accumulating, and many things they are trying to fit in the society, but some of them are trying very hard to accept them. So this is a very, very, many kinds of conflicts happen. And what the thing that really exploded the emotion was 228事件. Okay, please say 事件. So 事件 is incident. 事件. Why it is called 228? It's because it happened in February 27th. And it was because the accumulating of these two kinds of emotion, and the government, which is the Republic of China, just said, you guys cannot sell the cigarette. I will control all the rights to selling the cigarette. But many of Taiwanese, which are locals, they think, why can't we do this? So some of them just secretly sell the cigarette they made. And one day, just this day, there was an old lady that she's selling her cigarette, and the police officer saw that and say, hey, baby, stop. Why you do the criminal things? So so the old lady trying to hey, don't capture me. I will take away everything. So she trying to run away from this capture, but the police officer did something very exaggerated, they trying to beat and trying to insulting. So many youngest, they tried to help the old lady, and then it became two groups of people fight together. Then many people trying to protest on the street, hey, you guys just leave here. We don't want to be like this. We don't want to treat it like this. And even some of the bureaus, broadcasting bureaus, was occupied by all the people, and they tried to take away the right to speak. Okay, so this 228事件 is actually very, very much of details. So we are going to have a trip. This is a little tour which will happen in the middle of October in the afternoon, and we will charge about $600 for Wang 博士, Wang 老师, and she will take us to all the places that shows the how to call this
schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
Mental disorder.
Yeah, mental disorder.
Conflict of your memory, your identity conflict. Okay.
Yeah, because there are a very special street in the start. It was Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Hall that shows the almighty government. But in the end of the road, there will be 228 Memorial. So it was like two very different mental sites in this road. And we will show you guys about this tour. And it will charge a little bit. And after that, it will have a dinner time for us to gather and talk. Okay. So after the 228事件, the Chiang Kai-shek was like, hey, you guys are so bad, so hard for me to like manage. So let's do the 戒严. Please say 戒严. 戒严. Okay, so 戒严 is to enforce the martial law. So which is making everyone like soldiers. So you cannot go out at the night. And you need to like obey many things when the soldiers tell you to not to go out. You need to immediately go back to your home. So it was like very, very hard, and everyone suspect their self has a spy beside them, because if you say something that probably has the mindset of revolution or not to obey, you probably would be captured, and you won't know who is the person that tell the police officer. So you will be very, very, very careful on what you speak, what you do, and what you want to do. And also, for our parents or our grandparents, they even have this kind of thoughts like, politics are very dark. Please don't go involved with this. Since we Taiwanese were very, very little, they would say, hey, just don't go to involved with the politics because it's very dark. You probably will get into jail, blah, blah, blah. Because it was the 戒严. So everyone was like in a terror. It was the beginning of 白色恐怖, white terror. Please say 白色恐怖. 白色恐怖. Yeah, the 恐怖 terror. So you is my mother's school. Mother is 母亲. School is 校. Please say 母校. 母校. Okay, 母校. So who else are studying in my mother's school? Who else? 母校. Hey, no, you are not. Hey, that's one. Yeah, my CTO. Yeah. So it has a very dark memory in my 母校, which is called 46事件.事件. Please say 事件. 事件. What is 事件? Incident. Yeah. The 46事件 happened in April 6th. So it is called 46事件. And what happened was actually there were two students, one from NTU and one from NTNU. They went out for biking. And when they were playing and in the middle of the road, there were a police officer asked them, hey, did you guys obey blah, blah, blah of the law? They was like, what? What? We are just playing. So the police officer just asked them to stop everything and try to ask if they recognize some of the people on their blacklist. And they was like, no. But actually one of the person in the that from NTU was involved with one of the study group. So there are two principles at that time. In NTU, it was 傅斯年, and in NTNU, it was 谢东. These two guys had a very, very different way to like solve this problem. The 傅斯年 told the police officer, "I will fight with you if my student bleeds. I will fight." But the NTNU, the 谢东闵, he said, "Follow me. I will bring you guys to the students' dorm." So, in the April 6th, there were many students that captured from the NTNU's students' dorm directly and go into the jail. Even some of them died beside the river in Taipei, and one of the students is her father. So, this is the movie that's showing this story, and it will release in the October. So let's take a look of that. And after this, let's welcome our Wang 博士 for the speech.
亲爱的 Q 当你看到这张批的时阵，你应该已经离开火烧岛啊！我嘛已经回去了天家啊！
反省しているんです。自分の何がいけなかったのか。
父、それは自分であること。台湾人が自分で自分を管理することよ。
他们兴奋的不得了，死我！我是共产党，不自首。
在这里守军的新生弟兄们，都是皇帝的后代，都是我们的同胞。遭到卖国奉陪的欺骗、纵容。现在，我们要来进行教育，让这些新生弟兄们不知道反共的都是。亲爱的 Q 多谢你在这个苦难当中，永远坚持去爱。我也是相信，人生会带来力量。
春节那年被台湾扫荡，他们就重新开始。
总有一天，所有心中有良心的人，拢会伫上黑暗的沙漠中，开出上纯洁的花蕊。
And you can see in that era, there are nearly every lecturers which are knowledgeable people in Taiwan that got into the prison for like 10 or 20 years. So there were a very huge break that between the generation to generation, that one of the era that those people, they are educated, and they were gone, disappeared in our society. So this is actually has a very deep effect to our life. So let's welcome the Wang 博士, and she's the founder of the Co-Creative Hub of Inclusive and Impact and European Innovation Co-Create. And she has many PhD degrees. So yeah, PhD degree in physics, candidate in political science, and also MA in philosophy. Very intelligent. So welcome 王博士。
Okay, hi. 那我现在开始要我打开那个 PowerPoint.
Okay.
So I have some my Chinese audience. That's usually I have an event also on this time every Monday evening here. I have a real event, real presence, and people go online with me. They come from 台中、高雄 whatever. OK， 好，谢谢现在线上的观众，我的这边线上观众好，我可以在这里 present， 然后 I speak a little some Chinese and then I turn to English。你要打开我的 PowerPoint。有。好，先稍后一下，我打开我 PowerPoint。所以我线上观众也可以先看 YouTube， 我发觉 YouTube 更加清楚。好 ，OK， 好，这可以 go to the YouTube for them.
Yeah,
you're even better.
Okay.
Let me see. Where is my? Sorry. I had to share. I had to cancel. Okay, but I see. I have here my. Oh, why not? Give me some a few minutes. Cancel. 好，我在这边先要 share， 但是 why not？ 先用你们那边的是好。那请大家好在 YouTube 唱。那我等一下回来，我们这个现在这边网络上，我就请你留问题就好了，让他们留问题。好 ，OK， so， 那我把它关掉了，关掉我的声音跟sorry， 我 cancel， 然后我就。好，大家去请到 YouTube 看哈，那你可以在这个对话框留下你的提问，我等一下回来看。好，谢谢。好 ，OK， yes， wow， OK， so I just call it a new dark memory of Taiwan. Okay, so we can have a vision. I don't want to look back. 这样可以吗？好，你们都可以。OK， saying I don't want to look back only as a traumatic memory. I think this kind of traumatic is a dynamic, and it's a dynamic which pushes us forward for reconciliation, for looking for the true unity in humanity, for solidarity, and also for our future. And maybe we call it sustainability and happiness. So that's actually my project. And so I tell the I tell a story. My father was also from this Taiwan Normal University. Taiwan Normal University, also NTU. If you are very lucky in the 1950s, study in this both university, you are really in danger of being arrested because you are intellectual and you can read book. You can read socialism book, and that makes you everybody as a critic for the regime. Okay, and even you don't participate in anything, in any study group, you are also in danger because they have no really just, I would say, the real, very objective process of verifying every evidence. People you will be arrested just by arbitrary, and then you sent to, without knowing any reason, you go to Green Island for 10 years, like my father. And my father, 10 years in Green Island is only a small case. Most of his commilitoran, his classmates, I will call it classmates, much of them are more than 10 years prison. And even some of them could be in danger because something happened in political, I would say some political situation changed in Taiwan. Chiang Kai-shek was in danger of his work power because some other journalists want to rebel against him. So if you are in this kind of atmosphere, some people will be selected and accused with some kind of rebellion, this excuse, and they were sent back to Taiwan and executed. Okay, so you will see, because you have nothing, you are not a lawful country, there is no justice to protect you. That's Taiwan's martial law. And Taiwan has the non-martial law about 38 years. I think it's one of the most longest, the one in the world. I think it's the second place now. The first place, which country is in the first place now? Longer than 30 years old. It's right now also authoritarian state. No, Syria. Okay. Syria is also longer. I don't know what about Korea. Maybe they don't use martial law or something. Okay, so let's come back to maybe. I have another so I will skip it. So this is the 流麻沟16号, and you see the movie. Actually, one was an interview book, and you see the female presenter in this film. So they also talk. They concentrate on the female presenter in Green Island. They are only a small group, small part of the group. Most of them are male students or male young men, okay? But they choose from all this story, their oral history here, and make it 3 major figures in this film. And one of them is a very famous dancer, they call Cai Ruiyue. It's in real person's name, Cai Ruiyue, but I don't know why they changed. And they have the other 2 characters. We haven't seen the film yet. So what about the real plot? What the playwright making the story? I don't know. But you cannot copy 1-to-1. They don't refer to the real person. They just merge all this life story together and make it to 3 female characters in this film. Okay. And my father was show up in this book. I can show you later. And of course, what else? I would say the author of this book, he committed to this history very much. And so he interviewed a lot of victims. So this is a female victim. And for one of the female victims, because I will tell you later, the author also come to my home, come to our house to interview my father, my parent, okay? But I don't know. That time maybe I'm not yet back in Taiwan. I'm back in Taiwan in 2010. And so I always told Mr. Chao, the author, say, you know my father better than me. Okay. And then when I come back to Taiwan, my father was already in the dementia state. So you can see so what I'm going to tell you about my father's story. I have a lot download from the internet page. I talk to other friends or the son or daughter of my father's friend. Okay, I not really directly talk to my father. So let's go back to what's so I would say 暖暖客厅 is going to be, I want to make it like a co-creative hub for impact inclusion. In Chinese, I would say it will be like some kind of 公民大学, and I will tell you my project later. Okay, maybe I can see here better. I can see. Can you okay, because I scroll down, and I also call it. I want to make a ESG. How you can this is okay. You know about ESG? Everybody talking about ESG. Can I talk? So it's environment, social, and governance. So I think it's a new buzzword and maybe a vision for our future. And so I can. I would say if we want to have an environment, social, and government. So government is also about the risk, about the disaster, how you face the global change. Okay, and social is about how you make the inclusion as your main principle. Inclusion, which means across the nation, across the culture, across gender, and across social status, okay? And over environment, everybody know about climate change. I was saying this is all together. They could be it is a complete, I would say a compact helping each other together. You cannot isolate one from the other one. Okay, so I now come back to the real story. I talk about a little bit of my background. I did because I have okay. So that would be better. See in this way. I get my PhD in physics in the United States, and then I have a chance to do my research in Gothenburg, that's Sweden. And later I decided, wow, how the European people know how to enjoy life. Okay, they really making happiness as one of the major principles, not like Chinese. Chinese as working and studying in order to achieve some kind of social status. So at that time, many years ago, I decided I want to change my profession. So I think at that time, wow, maybe after physics, I can study metaphysics. So I think I want to study philosophy because I want to know about people's mindset. How can we change people's mindset and they could change their worldview and start to enjoy their life, okay? And then by accident, I go to this small city in Germany. Anybody know about Trier before? You know, you are there. You are German? So where you come from? Lithuania. Okay, Lithuania. I know you know Richard. Okay, I know. Okay, so I come to it's very close to Luxembourg. Okay, Luxembourg. So very close, and it's also the birthplace of Karl Marx. Okay, you understand? So many Chinese actually visit there. It's one of the most visited cities in Germany. It's not Berlin, it's not Munich, it's not Hamburg. It's this small city about 100,000. Yeah, yes, 100,000. So it's not a big city, but it's very famous. Actually, a lot of cultural heritage from the Roman time. Okay, from Rome. Okay, this is Roman Empire. Okay, but Karl Marx, after the China get rich, as many rich people in China, they are able to travel to Europe. So Karl Marx house, which was the birthplace house for Karl Marx, become a very, very popular among the Chinese tourism. So the city, Renome, I think in 2007, the museum. So now you can listen the audio in Chinese and also in English. Before that, before 2007, you can only look at the paper poster in German. Okay, so that's the atmosphere I'm looking at. But I never know what happened to me after I back to Taiwan. So now come to the story. 暖暖客厅 here, begin here. So I have to, I just prepare this for all my social innovation project. Okay, so sorry, this. 直接点什么？它是我现在用 Okay, this one. Sorry, I didn't put that in English, but I will tell.暖暖 is one of the districts in Keelung City. Okay, it's called暖暖. One part of the city. And I tell you, I forget to translate English. So that come to my life. This house we forget long time ago. We cannot recognize that. But 2014, the end of the year, we received a letter from the district government and say, mail to my father. Okay, my father is still alive at that time, and say this is your house. And you can see the situation because many years, I think more than 10 years, nobody lived there because my cousin was taking care of that all this time, but he also moved away and just living in this situation. Okay, and so the tree grew up in the house. That's no problem for anybody. Okay, even disturber. But the tree is so active. The Chinese, you know, the Chinese 榕树, okay, it's very, 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 very vital. And the branch extending outside and go into the pineapple of our neighbor. And that made a problem. The neighbor called the policeman and say, hey, you have to do something with the tree. And so at home, I back in home in Taipei. My father gave this letter because I think he had dementia. Okay, my mother have this letter, and then I read that, and we are very, very surprised because we don't know my father still had the possession, have the ownership of this house. And so everything come in by accident. Okay, that's the first surprise. The second surprise, what could we do with this house? So I called my cousin. My cousin is actually the person who taking care for all this year. I told him what I'm going to do and actually how could it be in this situation. He said, because nobody is there and his family is moving outside, and he is also in trouble. He said, wow, this is a burden to me. This old house is a burden to me. Maybe I will take out some money and I want to tear it down. That's my cousin's decision. And I was so shocked. He wanted to tear it down. So you can see when you go to outside Taipei, you can see a lot of old house just tore down by their own owner, because they don't know how to renovate that. They don't see the value in this kind of renovation. They don't see the immobiliary price. You can get rich or get money because of your renovation. So that is also a big problem in Taiwan. So that's compared to that. And so I only have one idea at that time. I don't want it to be taken down. I think I would be very, very shameful myself if I come back to Europe and my German friend told me, hey, your own house is being taken down by your own family. And that would be very shameful to me, okay? So I think, anyway, I want to prevent this tear down and maybe keep it preserved in a certain way, okay? So I come back to the history. No history, nobody want to care about it. So I come back now. So everybody know about this. Everybody saw this film before. Detention. Okay, you are very historical awareness. Okay, detention in Chinese is called 返校, and it also now if you have a Netflix subscription, you can go to Netflix. I think you go to Netflix. A Taiwanese film. You can tell us about what? About a school story and. Watched it a few years ago, maybe. I just rehearsed. Okay, it's about the white terror story. Okay, some student reading a female student by accident. They try to tell the policeman that maybe our teacher is doing something very suspicious. Okay, she has no intention to harm her teacher, but you know what happened. Because of this kind of the indirect report, the teacher was arrested and also executed. Okay, the director not really mentioned to particular school, but actually all the background, like the student telling the police, all these things is actually from Keelung High School, Keelung 中学, the major part, and Keelung 中学 is also my father's mother's school. Okay, my mother's school. Okay, 母校 is alumni, but you can tell. This is the book. Okay, so I tell you. Now I show you all. I download this photo from internet. Okay, you can also download that if you key in this all the keyword. 基隆中学 the first graduation photo. First 1948. What's Keelung 中学? Keelung High School was before a Japanese I would say it's a prepared. This school is also only prepared for the Japanese elite male student. Okay, and Taiwanese can be allowed it. A few persons can allow it into. Okay, they are separated. School for Taiwanese, school for Japanese. But after the war, Japanese are forced back to Japan. We call it now, we have a Chinese word called Wanshen. They are born in Taiwan, but have to force back to their mother country, but they don't know them either, okay. And then this is a photo, it's a graduation. It's a high school. My father was here, okay, 48. You can see that? Yeah? Yes, you can see. This is the second row, this is my father. And my father here, this is 48. And now, let's remember, 1947 is the 228. So we separate this kind of the history. Maybe you can back to the Taiwan history. You can say 228 is the event. Was the event a massacre, an incident in the single year, 1947. After that, something massacre may be reduced, but after 1940, I will call it 1950, begin another wave of arrestment, very, very large scale, particularly for the intellectual. Okay, so we will call it this white terror period, and before that you can call it 228. But of course, only 3 years apart. So it's a continuous continuity of this persecution already on the way. My father graduation photo. Why I show you this? My father, and 2 years later, he's already in Taiwan Normal University. He himself witnessed the 46 事件. My father saw the policeman come to the dormitory to arrest the student and back to policeman. So that's a social very, very big event for a normal university. Okay. So my father decided he don't want to stay in a dormitory. So he shuttled back and forth between暖暖and Taipei. Okay, you can take a train about 20 minutes, you go to暖暖. So one evening in 1950, now we should just take a picture. 2 years later, 1950, my father back to home in暖暖in that old house that you see. He saw all the secret agent and policemen in uniform surrounding the house, waiting for him. Waiting to arrest him. So what this I know was a rather oral history of my father before his dementia, and he was 30 pages here. So I studied, so come back to the 2014, back to that time when I see that later. I read this book, read this oral history again, and I saw, wow, this is the house of my father's arrestment. So this gave me a big inspiration. Hey, they have a big story. This is a young student was arrested here. It's really happened in 1940. Okay, so now let me keep it in the photo because there are a lot of stories. Take a look of this first row. They are you can the person in white suit. Okay, you know someone called 蒋渭水. Have you heard about that? 蒋渭水. That's back in the 1930s. It's a very Renaissance, a Taiwan intellectual. Taiwan for Taiwan's culture. He's a medical doctor. He was in Chen. Or you can see the new cultural movement of Taiwan's 1920 cultural renaissance, you can call that. And then you see, now we come back to about 1950. This man called Zhong Haozhong. He is also an intellectual. This is president, he's a director. Here is a teacher. And teacher and president, most at that time, they study either in Japan or they may be in Japan, and sometimes because they love their back to the mother country's culture, which they sometimes they also move to China to fighting for Japanese war, okay, Sino-Japanese war. So this is a very complicated identity probably at that time. Okay, in the 1950s, they come back and become a director. I think his age about in the middle of 30, very, very young. This is young. So I like to call this generation, I don't call them communists. I call them the person at that time, the most globalized, most cosmopolitan young intellectual in Taiwan. So you can see their prospect because they read socialism, but they read socialism just as a young intellectual back to the 1950s read. European young intellectual also read socialism. So they read the same book like what people in Germany or in France is reading. But in Taiwan, this could be a danger after 1950. Okay? And not only so, my father was only a student. So he was arrested and then tortured sent to the prison in the Sheraton Hotel. Now the Sheraton Hotel address before was a martial law center. Okay, Taiwan's martial law center. And a lot of students first arrived there, and they will torture you to ask you who are with you in the same reading group. So if you are under such a body pain, you will give some name of your friend. So was revealed by one of his community classmates or something like that. So in this way, you can thousands of young students are arrested during 1950 and onward. And if you have so many students, young intellectuals in the prison, what do you do with them? At that time, our regime, government, Kuomintang, they think, oh, maybe we can send them to isolate. So this is I followed the first dispatch to Green Island in 1951. Okay, he was arrested in 1950 and dispatched a few months later. But what I want to tell is all these young person, director, president, what are their outcome? My father as a student, 10 years. Almost all these people in the first row were executed. And the place of execution is in Chen youth park, very close to this area. I don't know, you heard about it called Ma Changding. So now they are becoming a historical monumental. So we can talk about that. So many people go picnic there. Picnic, Ma Changding. It's a park. It's a park. Okay. So you can see how and my father was very, very good, very, very close to this teacher called Nan Minggu. And Nan Minggu was also executed in 1950 or 51. The teacher, his wife, survived him very, very long, died at the age of 101 years, about 5 years ago. So that's the story. This is Liu Ma Gou Shu Ha, is about his wife. The story was written here. Okay, so let's come back. I will show you the picture. This is my father in Green Island. Wow. So I saw this picture since I was a child. My father showed that without making any comment. So you can imagine, as a child, I see, wow, hi, my father as a happy young man. Where is he going? Maybe to some swimming pool, maybe come a young beach party. So this is always in my imagination. My father go to swim and go to party, a very, very lucky young man. When I back to Taiwan in 2010, now I understand what's look like as the background. I know this is not something enjoyment. This is exactly the place of Green Island. Okay, so I don't know, because they have a recreation time, they have an exercise time, people can take pictures like that. And I want to show you the picture was taken by a very, very famous photographer called Chen. And Chen is also graduated from the art department in Normal University. He is a very famous one. My father was a good model, okay? And Chen is a good photographer, okay? Okay, so Chen sorry, I hear don't. You can see Chen was arrested for 14 years. This one, Chen artist. And he was very famous because he used the branch in collecting all the branch and wood in the Green Island and making a violin. So, and there is a graphic book called 希望小提琴 by 信佳慧女士, was just about his story. Okay, I don't. And because he can make photographs, if you now visit Green Island, you can go to the Human Rights Cultural Park. You will see a lot of history about Chen, and you also see my father's picture about, okay. And this is when they arrive, the first dispatch of students, they arrive. They build up all this stone. They move in the stone, doing all the hard work in order to build a prison to imprison themselves, okay? So this is the first look now. But if you now go to the Green Island, now they look different because they also change, like reconstruction. And Chen Menghe, because he is a good photographer, so every time Jiang Jingguo, the son of Chiang Kai-shek, see this can as a recreation, re-education camp. So foreigner from United States, from Europe, he's proudly showing all these foreign visitors that we have an education camp for our youth. Okay, and Chen is allowed it because he can make photographs. So he's allowed it to accompany all these commander or maybe some kind of important guests. So he is able to take a look of the whole Green Island. Otherwise, the prison like my father, they can only, I think, moving away, maybe in the very localized region. Okay, so that's the story. And you can so surprise, 2007, a few years ago, I was very surprised. One of the history teacher in Keelung Gaozhong forwarded me from internet this kind. So I download that, this document. This document is my grandfather, my grandmother. My grandmother, when my father arrested, during the first few months, she didn't know his son alive or maybe dead. And he is crying, she is crying almost every day. So at that time, what she can do, he paid some money. Because my grandmother could not read and write. So certainly he paid some money to ask some people to write a petition to the government, say, my son is very innocent, is very law-abiding, he could not do anything wrong. Please, my grandmama was a widow. We are widow, mother, and son together. Please release my son and back to home. So when I saw this, I'm very, very surprised. I think my father never know my grandmother wrote this one. And because this is no longer a secret, so you can download from documentary center. You just key in that. So you can see, so that's the situation. So what should I do with, I think the暖暖客厅, now I have this old house waiting for renovation and in danger of being torn down. So I remember, at that time, I remember this story. Okay, that everybody, you visit that before you also, and you, not yet. Annie Frank house is not only in Amsterdam. I visited that Annie Frank house in Berlin. And Annie Frank is actually coming from Frankfurt. So a Jewish family, they're fleeing Nazi and now stay in Amsterdam. But to the later day, they are very, very in danger of arrestment. So they're hiding behind this house. They have in the cabinet, okay. So, but waiting, hiding for 1 year, maybe some, and Anna Frank write a very famous diary, okay. But unfortunately, the family was discovered by the Nazi. And also the Annie and sister and mother, 3 women, was arrested and sent to the concentration camp. Just not arriving at the end station, they died from the disease. Okay. The father, Otto Frank, is very, very lucky. At that time, at that day of arrestment, he is out of town, and he survived. And he published her daughter's diary and become way more famous. And you know, you visit that in summertime or hot season, summertime, spring, you have to wait in a long queue. No. Registration. Yeah. I think you have to pre-registration before. You have to register online before. If you on the queue, you could wait for 4 hours. My friend told me. So you know, he's so popular, so millions of visitors. And suddenly you come back to the 2014 at Taipei. In Taipei, I was so fine, so ironic about the true fate, true destiny of these 2 houses. This is a house of arrestment, but now 70 years later, it's become world famous. But my home, my father's arrestment place, is in the danger of being torn down. So I think this is ironic. And I decided to write my feeling to internet. I just write in the post in the Facebook. I show it in the Facebook, and then I told my father's story about Keelung Zhongxue, Keelung High Schools, this very tragic history of this high school. And also about the contract between Annie Frank house in Amsterdam and in Keelung, in暖暖. And I just posted it. I say, anyone can help me to rebuild this house? after renovation, we can make it accommodation day. We can make it a place of sharing our Taiwanese history, a story, and European history. So this is my my vision at that time, and just write down in the post. And you just come in the right situation, the right timing, because that was after the election day, after the election, and Keelung changed the mayor. Okay, the mayor, now the current mayor is going to go step down later. So now today, you know, in 2 months we go in another 9合一大选. Okay, at that time, this is Lin Youchang. He is a person major in urban planning, and he focused on many of the I would say community building and something. So it's now somebody. So my post, my Facebook post, become widespreading, many share. And the mayor, the new elected mayor, Lin Youchang, write down a comment. Just have a message say, yes, we were going to help you, and we can try to help and to rebuild or something. Okay, but of course, I up to today, I didn't get any money from the Keelung government. But I am very assured, and I feel, at that time, I feel, oh, okay, nobody dare to tear down the home except your family, yourself. Okay, so I think it become widespread and become a public event. Okay, so I have I will maybe take it. Okay, I think I get here. So I become an interview from 天下杂志, okay, a Commonwealth magazine, and come to my house. So you can see my mother, my father still alive. My father's picture. My mother and father will get married in this home. And my mother at that time, and my mother herself was, she is a nurse in the Keelung city municipal hospital. Okay, and 暖暖节15号. So I have an interview. So during that time, I'm looking forward. How should I do with that? Okay, so I call. So this is so I call out in Facebook. I say maybe anybody who are interested in that can help me. So you see, 2014 is Taiwan. We have a sunflower movement in the springtime. Have you know about that? We have a student protesting our government and also occupying our parliament building. 2014. So that's the springtime of 2014. The end of spring, the end is. I want to show that it's the social change in Taiwan. Because the awareness to face your history and really treasure your history as kind of your value. This begins in 2014. So I say it's the timing is very lucky. I have a group of young people. They really want to know themselves and know their past and also know about the local history of Keelung. So they come to tell me. And we have a renovation. We just cleaned up. So you now still can visit暖Street number 15, number 15, and no door lock. Okay, we can open that. Because it's still a ruin situation, we are waiting for the next project to renovate that. And I have 2 films. Another short film is going to release in Taiwan Plus, I think in October. So you can see, I will show you that. So it's a kind of a citizen movement, just because they come to know暖暖客厅. So we become somebody is doing the I would say community project, and some this hospital maybe healthcare professional. They build up their use homepage or something. So I'm very lucky to do that. So this is I would say, and we also see. I also take Keelung as a metaphor because Keelung is a harbor, and harbor was toward the war. A migration history, okay? And you now know Keelung. Have you been in Keelung? I think everybody?
No.
Not yet? we can organize a tour. Because Keelung is no longer the same like 8 years ago. It's completely changed. I think you know about Keelung. Yeah. Change a lot. Before, everybody is depressed. It's the most highest suicide rate in Taiwan. The most highest unemployment rate in Taiwan. A harbor, how could it be? And because of politics, I think the mayor, the former mayor is doing something just very corrupted. But Lin Youchang, the mayor Lin, as the one who put the notice in my Facebook post, okay, he changed that. Okay, and I think not only he, because the young people, the awareness of the sunflower generation, they changed Geelong. Okay, completely different. And Geelong is a migration, so you have all the migration arriving from China, from Shanghai, arriving in Geelong Harbor. Not only that, back to 400 years ago, Netherlands was in Taiwan, and Spain is in North Taiwan. So you can see the 30 years war in Europe have an extended battlefield. That's in Taiwan, because Netherlands is fighting with Spain in Geelong area. So imagine this kind of global connection. How can it be? Okay, but it's real history of global history. So I always told that when you look at the traumatic history, Whitetail, it is not about local history. It is a global history. And maybe I will back to comment why 1950 is the year of the Whitetail. Why? Why before? Why not after? Why is 1950? Can anyone tell me? Anyone know about Korean War? What time is Korean War? Just about that time. Yes. Okay. So I would say 1947 is 228. But in 228 that year, Chiang Kai-shek himself is still in mainland. Okay. And the General Chen was older, but of course everything was supported and endorsed by Chiang Kai-shek, no problem. So, okay, that is 47. That's the incident. And Chiang Kai-shek arrived in Taiwan in a great insecurity. He is not secure, not so sure about his power, because United States are not so happy with him. Okay, they are looking for another person to replace him. So more or less this is situation. But in this chaotic moment, Korean War break out. And Korean War break out, United States have no other choice. They say, he sent a signal to Chiang Kai-shek. Okay, you can keep Taiwan because we need Taiwan as kind of the battle front against the communists. So you can, so we can look at the Taiwan's Whitetail history. You have to look at the global trend. You have to look at the international relation. This is what happened outside Taiwan, really influenced Taiwan. Okay. So I have a project here yes, now. Sorry, it's very late. So we look at the harbor, and Geelong is a very fabulous state because of migration history, because of all this kind of history. So I have I put in English data, very small. So I see暖暖客厅. This curtain is a living room. So it's a place for welcome the friend. Everybody can come, share the life history. One of architects gave me his name, 暖暖客厅. Okay. But I just look in the English. I just暖暖street number 15. Okay, that's the house address, house number. And I will say, is Geelong's 暖暖客厅 or it is Taiwan's 暖暖客厅? No, I think it's a 暖暖客厅in the global perspective. So because as I told you, memory is kind of empowerment. So that's one of the message I get due to this power. And if I get up in the first moment, I say, I have no hope, I have no money to rebuild that. We just tear it down, and nothing will happen. I won't be here to tell you this story. But when I go outside and send a post in Facebook and ask people to help me, miracle really happen. So I just think if you can come back to face something, miracle happen. Okay, so I will come here to share with you this magical power. So come back to global partnership for healing and innovation or reconciliation. And I will always want to emphasize renovation is that. And I would say education and social innovation is very important for the people to dealing with the past. And I don't think telling this story is going to just want to retaliate, or want to for the judgment, or just to go through the judicial law process for against the perpetrator. Yes, that's one perspective about justice. But outside, beyond the justice, I think we are real person living in the real world and the life going on. So this kind of history, I think, have a great impact in nowadays generation like Taiwan also. So I think this is, they can change our mind that we humanity deep inside in our heart, we can connect to the people. We can renovate ourselves. We are able to reborn and connect to the people. Now, of course, I'm talking about this history story in the context that now we're still facing the Ukrainian war. So, making reconciliation, innovation, healing, and healing, and try to social justice is still the ongoing, always an ongoing project. Back to the 70 years in Nazi regime, or maybe 30 years ago in East Germany, when we see the Berlin Wall, East Germany and West Germany. But nowadays you have a Ukrainian war. And when I visit Germany recently, I see a lot of people from Syria. They're arriving in Germany for looking for a new home, a new place for their children. So I can really see this cosmopolitan humanity, solidarity, and inclusion was happening in Europe, in Berlin. So I would say I always take in Berlin as one of my model city in the sense of really born again from the ruin, from the ash, from the damage, from the trauma of the history. But now they are one of the most innovative cities in the Europe. And I also look at the Berlin farmhouse as one of the example why we don't make暖暖客厅something like that. I don't really mean it had to be a museum. It could be a place. Okay, and I use 暖暖客厅 NN14 as my brand. I use it as my market, my brand. So I use it as a social, how you can say, as a social project.
May I make a supplemental?
Yeah.
Yes, and because like before Wang Boshi went abroad to the United States. Actually, she didn't know the story of her family, and that was very interesting. Would you like to? Yeah.
Okay, I was almost 30 years old when I first know my father's story. Okay, so my father come back to Taiwan 10 years later, and he get married after that. He get married, and he was I also showed it as a picture. Okay. This guy, tall guy, this guy was the body, very, very close to my friend. He is not lucky, not going to not being arrested to Green Island. And not only that, he was already during his 10 years, he was promoted to be a director of a junior high school, 明山国中校长. So when my father come back 10 years later, his friend say, "Hi, come here and to be a teacher." So he become a teacher. And because in this school, my father met my mother. Okay. So we are born after that during the 60s. And of course, this is a time you should not tell your children about this history. So I always have some strange memory about our relative talking about, hey, your father was going abroad, was study abroad. What time is study abroad? They call it 留学. They mention time, not absence as something going on. Okay. I don't know how yes, you mentioned. Yeah. One day during the, I was almost getting my PhD in United States. I was in United States, Long Island. I was invited by a relative to have a Thanksgiving dinner. Okay, Thanksgiving dinner, and this relative was so happy telling about a story about he's getting together with my father. And he mentioned, hey, I attend your father's wedding banquet. Okay, wedding banquet. And he said, oh, your father's all the classmates, 同学 in Chinese, all the classmates, his class, all attend this classmates celebrating the wedding. Okay, and he repeated classmate, 3 times. And I was so suspicious. I said, hey, what kind of 同学? What kind of classmate? And my relative said, you don't know? Your father's Green Island classmate. This is so shock to me. You can see, I never known that before. Okay. And my relative, the one who told me this one, he was so sorry. He said, I'm so sorry. Your father never told you. And I was an outsider. By accident, I told you this is secret of your family. So this is, because I stayed in Germany for a long time, so I read a lot of biography of the first generation victim of Nazi victim and their second generation. Always have this conflict. They want to hide their history. They see this suffering history as a kind of shame. Something you should not tell your young children, okay? So I think it's a very, very complicated emotional reaction about this trauma. And so this is why I'm so interested in studying psychology and philosophy. And I really believe in the true power. If you want to open your mind, you can get reconciliated. But if you always suppress your memory, that's not good for your health. So like my father, he get dementia. Maybe that's to some correlation. So nowadays, I always talk, when I give lecture in Chinese outside, sometimes people will scold at me, say, June, you are tearing down our any harmony. You are tearing down our trust among the people. I will face this kind of criticism. But I'm very, very happy to talking to the people under 40 years old. So happy, they don't have problem. They embrace this history eagerly and want to know more about that. But if you go to an older generation, 60 years, 70 years, it's very, very difficult. It's really very difficult. This Weizen and Benson and all this conflict, yes.
The politics are very dark. You probably will go.
But I think we are going. Yes.
So people under about 40 years old for Taiwanese, they probably have this kind of thoughts. And what Wang Boshi mentioned about the sunflower event, who has ever heard about this? Please raise your hand. Yeah, sunflowers. Yeah, actually the sunflowers is about in our generation, like 20. And the sunflower is because the previous president, who is called Ma Ying-jeou, he really want to have policy passed in the legislature, and which is close to China. So many youngest people like trying to protest, like why you should force this policy go through just so easily. So probably there's something like under the back in the shadow, probably something. So we need to figure it out, and that is called the sunflower.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't translate in English, but please let me tell you. Then what should I do next after people come to help me and it go to the media? We have a documentary film. So if I'm sure that this house will stay there. Nobody will tear it down. But then I decided my next project. I see when I'm talking about reconciliation, about the humanity, about the global suffering of this humanity, and about this massacre in Europe and dark history. And I will say, my father was accused, sent to prison because he's reading Marxism. Okay, so you see, I come from a state. I was studying at the birthplace of Karl Marx. You see, all this connected together. So we should have a sense of the global history. What's the global context? So I decided to bring our Taiwanese people to visit, because I should visit first Germany. So in 2018 and 19, these 2 years, I organized 8 kind of different topic of group. Of course, transitional justice, this is one of them. We visit the German concentration camp, and also the Nazi historical museum, everything, and topography, the terror in Berlin. But what I say, this is my first group. Here is in the picture in the handbook. We want to make it, I would say, through this 8 times of traveling, I really come to mind that when people meet people, really encounter themselves, they will really encounter a real life. They will change their value. They don't read books to change their value, but they see the real situation, they will change their value. So this is, I want to do it next, still continue on this project. And sorry, this is only a few English in that because I put 3 major areas as my topic. One, you see the loneliness problem, okay? After the COVID, people say loneliness is even serious, even severe than the virus itself, okay? So loneliness is not only limited in the old age people, it could be very young, people getting depression, particularly in Taiwan. We are very achievement oriented, 人生胜利组. You have to be in the victory category. You have to achieve in your study, in your professional, in your getting a salary, having a house, or a car. Chinese have this kind of I want to say achievement from the awareness. But I think the loneliness was suppressed a level. So how can you release people out of this bondage? So I want to focus on loneliness. And also Germany in this year, the early February, they have a trans ministry cross-disciplinary, I would say some kind of department in order just specialize in loneliness problem. And I myself, my project, 暖暖客厅 15, we want to connect to Germany in this exchange program and making very intensive cooperation and maybe some kind of exchange education. And the second one, I call it green care. So, which means Taiwan is very famous, sometimes very proud of our health insurance system, our medical care, but something is ignored, forget it almost here, just mental health, emotional health. Okay, so we want to, like as I see during my traveling tour in Germany, I see the green care, which means you can call it alternative care, which is not, I would say, intrusive, using the medical device or using the technology device, but you go to the forest care, okay, forest therapy. You go to the music therapy, art therapy, museum itself is coding people's memory and narrative therapy. And we have we particularly focus on animal-assisted therapy, using horse, equine therapy, and dog, okay, dog. So this is, I think in Taiwan, we are the, how you call it, the pet animal. It's in the horizon, okay, pet animal. So why don't you make pet animal as a kind of companion animal? Companion animal can helping people from the dementia, autism, depression, traumatic, PTSD, and all this kind, and social isolation, addiction to drugs and alcohol. This is all I saw in Germany and also in Austria, and they also cover by insurance. But I will see the potential in Taiwan. We can go through, we can have the future development in this area, okay? And sustainability, particularly I call inclusive and sustainable living, about housing. So we have a particular project for co-housing, which people have a broad relationship, but they cross the generation from young people and old people. They wish to live together. They can helping each other in the co-housing, affordable housing, social housing, and cooperative housing. So this is in trend in Taiwan. So we want to advocacy for that and making people go through education program, exchange program, and cooperate with architecture and urban planner. So this is what I'm doing now, okay? So thank you very much. I think I'm going to the end. And if you, I don't know, most of our projects in, so you can take maybe some look of my picture in the end. So Okay. 好。So this is our visit in the co-housing project. This is a co-housing project in Berlin. We visit that, and how you see, this is the other one. That's a project. We even was in the media, in the Hamburg, one newspaper, because they have a new project, how you treat the people together, very inclusive. They have people underprivileged, but they also have people in the middle class. They have people in dementia. They have young people with the children, and they put the kindergarten, particular beside the dementia living area, so that young children can interact with the dementia people. So that's the way, really a very good way of helping people active in their cognition ability. Okay, so this kind of project is very, I think in the very beginning, but I will see that in the near future. So that is also, and then what should we see? Yes, almost all of that. Yes, and this is the animal. This is in near Berlin. Okay, and that's the host project. And this is many social workers who just taking care of the host host therapy. But all the working people, working staff, they are social workers. All the psychotherapists. Okay, this is a game. You can use it board game as a way of helping people understand each other, as a way of communication. Okay, so we have a Taiwan. This is the people. This is a teacher in Aachen, near the city of Aachen, and he has a very education program for building a house. Eric Hastings is the person. And so all this is helping people with the seizure alert dog that was created by in the Vienna education program.
再2分钟。
好 ，Okay. So I was an animal in the intention. Sorry, this is Switzerland. This is I think in Basel. Everyone. So I was checking that people, the children with terminal disease is almost the end of life. But how can they receive their pain using the animal? The host is very welcome. So this is very close. So that is my project, and I wish this is I'm showing it that's in Europe, but I hope in the near future. And my project is co-creative hub for inclusion and impact. The 暖暖客厅 as in Chinese, we are brand, we are education program, we are bringing people together. And this new version, I hope it could be realized in Taiwan very soon. And I wish all of you here can join me. We can taking part in different kind of projects, and we can cooperate together. Okay. So thank you. At the end, I will have a QR code. You can scan my QR code to okay. So I have my name card, and you can have my LinkedIn, my project, and this is my YouTube. You can also see every Monday evening I have an event. But sorry, this is still Chinese. If you want to improve your Chinese, please come here. Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. 好，谢谢王老师 Thank you. And we are going back to our original post. So yeah, thanks for Wang 博士 like
call me June. That's it.
very passionate and full of the wisdom lecture.
Touching a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So today on your the handouts that you have on your desk is what is Taiwanese literature, and we just have the sharing with a video here. And if you subscribe our newsletter for the first trial, and you will see how to purchase it. And it is also recommended by many universities. And we also just got a booking from an international high school. So yeah, they are very highly recommended. Okay, and this is our future dream, and we wish the valuable Wang 博士like content and her experiences can be also be included in our library. And in the future, we even would like to cooperate with her about more and more courses. So just look forward to it. And we are looking for investors, donations, and the volunteers for like promoting these events. And welcome to bring your friends here. Okay, so this is very important. After you know the story of Wang Boshi, you must wonder what she would interpret about the how to call the name.
Schizophrenia.
Schizophrenia.
You know what I mean. I just make it very, very ironic, so you understand. So can you show the Google Map type so we can see how our route? We have a 2-hour time.
Google.
And I will say everybody, we will meet each other in the exit 2 in the Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Mall. Okay, Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Mall metro station. So this is the Nankai Lu and Luosifu. Okay, the junction. So we don't have a time to go to the CKS Mall. I just show you. You can see the wall, outside wall, Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Wall, and walking from that 10 minutes in walking distance, you arrive in 228 National Memorial Museum. 228 National. I don't know National. National Memorial Museum. Something. 228 National Museum. They have 2 museums in 228 with the name 228. One is in the Peace Park, Taipei Peace Park, 228公园. This was won by the Taipei City Cultural Council, 台北市文化局228和平公园. That museum was original a broadcasting station. So during the 228 time, played a very, very important role because the first incident brought out dissident and protest in Taipei. People come to the broadcasting station and broadcast this news. So all over Taiwan, they know about what happened in Taipei. So that was why the protest was all spread out, and so made the government Chen very, very nervous. So that calmed the crazy down. Chiang Kai-shek sent the troops from mainland China arriving in Keelung in March 8, arriving in Keelung, and then all the troops begin the massacre from north to south and to Hualien. Okay, that's 228. And
that's the content for this trip.
So
just stop it.
This is the 228 broadcast, but we are going to visit another one called National
Taiwan.
It's in Nankai Lu. So you have to remember, it's not in the Peace Park, Nankai Lu. Now Nankai Lu, all this road, when you walk down through the Luosifu Lu, you will see Gongmai-ju. That's another Taiwan museum, Nanmen-yuan-chu. Another museum about Japanese history, Japanese colony history, because this is a storage room for Japan try to sell onion to Taiwanese people, okay, in order to make money. So so you will see the beautiful Japanese architecture at that time. And now you walk about 5 minutes, you arriving at 228 National Museum. And that was before our museum painting. And then after we reading in this museum, we will go forward 5 minutes to 建国中学, your mother's school.
His mother's school of Kuan Yin.
建国中学 is a very, I would say, prestigious male student high school. We have some president already come from this school. 建国中学 up to now, before the main gate, you still see the statue of Chiang Kai-shek. So you want to know why I call it schizophrenia? Because in the other end, you have Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Mall. Memorial Mall, we don't go inside, but you know what happened. You know the exhibition there. Chiang Kai-shek Memorial Mall has a special space for Chiang Kai-shek's glorious, heroic history of Chiang Kai-shek. No dirty things about him. Okay, that was exhibit. Now you walk about 10 minutes to somewhere that was a massacre. About 228. And then another 2 minutes, you go to the 建国中学 main gate, you see statue of Chiang Kai-shek still there. So Taiwanese can come over all this disorder of memory. It's a miracle. Everybody, I think, all goes through all the human history. We have this, I would say, this resilience to go through all this disorder of memory. But try to understand that it's a part of our history. Yes. So I think it's very, very rich. Taiwan is very, very rich in this history. Try to make it your program, your entrepreneurship, or your, I don't know, what the tourist program. I think it's very, very famous in all the creative, even so many different parts, so many lifestyle, art product, music, and also, I think the painting and also literature. So during this area, so this part of Taiwan is a real Taiwan. Taiwan is not only night hunting, okay? So I will see you can enjoy yourself. But I feel really sorry that you don't have a very, very good English literature about this stuff. But recently I go to, just go through the website of the National Tutorial Museum. Really, they have a good English description now, okay? Lucky enough. Okay, so come with us in October 16th.
October 16th. And thanks for the Wang Bossi's introducing, but there are more contents when you really go here with us. So today, if you pay for today and book the seat here, it's just only for $500. But if you book here online, it will be $600. So please just make it as soon as possible. And I believe and I promise there will be more and more valuable contents that waiting for you to hear. Okay, thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, and the next event, it will still be here. And Kuan Yuan is going to introduce you the magical Taiwanese breakfast, because you can see there are many, many Western things in Taiwanese breakfast, like hamburger, like toast. And the toast is even like thicker than what you think, right? So it's very different and it is well transformed because of some historical things go on. So Kuan Yuan is going to introduce these to you, and we wish you guys can have the feedback form for us to know what do you think about the event tonight. And here's our group. It is a line group. Here's a Facebook group. Welcome you guys to join us and to look forward to more discussion in this group. And we will share the photos on of this event, and you guys can see your beautiful and concentrating photos in this our photo selection. So thank you guys for this event, and we wish you have a good night. And please enjoy the gathering and communicate with each other. Thank you guys. Thank you.
We should have a photo together.
Yeah, 大合照，对，我们let's have a photo together.
Q&A 时间吗？
有哦，没，先不要，对。
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.
Nice meeting you.
Oh no.
I have a name card if you want to have. 来。Hello, hi. You know.
Hey. 来，先讲，来。Yes,
sure.
1 month.
Yeah. And my experience is quite interesting. Because when I came here, I felt much more than people than back in my country. And it kind of made me feel like I belong here rather than in my home country. So it's kind of, it kind of helps my depression, which I had before and might still have in the future. Yeah.
So you, you have been in Taiwan how long?
1 month.
Only 1 month, and you are going to back soon?
No, I won't go for 4 years.
You stay here for 4 years.
Has a PhD program here.
In which subject?
Nanoscience and nanoengineering.
Neuroscience.
Nanoscience.
Nanoscience in physics, or no, chemistry.
Engineering.
Engineering. In which university?
NTU.
NTU. Neuroscience. Okay. Well, interesting. And what you say? You are you feel depression, or you are?
Well, I used to have during this 2 years of pandemic. Yeah, especially in my country, we had a very long lockdown. And I stayed at home and I couldn't go out. So I kind of was very lonely and it was very depressing.
Your family back in Lithuania is very lonely.
Yeah, even though I stayed with my family, still it was depressing because I couldn't do things I like go to nature, photograph, and it's very difficult. And the problem with our country's policy of COVID, we put everyone in lockdown, but we don't provide mental health support for people because I think it damaged a lot of people's lives those 2 years.
Very depressing. You know, Japanese have I would say
Japanese also built up ministry of loneliness in the beginning of 2021 because 2020 alone this year, Japanese have about 20,000 more suicide cases alone, more than next year. This was a record, created a record of the since the financial turmoil in 2008. This is very high. So particularly young female Japanese, we don't know why. But so you can see the depression is overall, it's a hidden story. People don't like to talk about it. We have a lot of hidden story. We don't ever talk about it. Okay. And Lithuania, yes. You know, Lithuania is one of the highest, the highest suicide rate. No, I think in the world. I think in the world, yes. Then maybe even Korea and Japan is very well. But Lithuania is even higher. I don't know why.
I think it's more cultural, and because we were 50 years and so
it's very complicated. It's even complicated.
It's
Russian and people have double speak, like I think it is this kind of thing. So people will hide the truth and try to pretend that it is everything's okay, everything's fine, and maybe that affects the future generations. Like my parents, kind of very, I'll just say.
Your parent was background in Russian or is it Lithuanian?
Well, they actually, my mother is from Russia, my father is Lithuanian.
Okay.
Actually, kind of I'm connected to this Ukraine war because my grandmother is in Crimea, which was occupied by Russia. Yeah, and I have some relatives in Ukraine. Yeah.
So European history is very, very complicated.
Yeah,
okay.
it's interconnected.
And you have Jewish background? Do you have a Jewish background? No.
I'm not sure, no.
But there also is used to be many Jewish living there. In this area. Though your parents. Okay.
Thank you for your sharing.
Thank you. Come back to you can learn more Chinese. Come to our event. You can learn more Chinese.
Come to ours.
Also, okay. 谢谢。好啊，谢谢。这可以拿起来吗？还是好，谢谢大家，谢谢。
Have a seat, please. And if you are backing there, please stand out.
会不会背景这个颜色会比较漂亮？对啊，那把它拿起来，拍很会跳，我每次都这样拍。不能给他把它拿起来。
没有，我们就是要这个。哎，关干嘛关？干嘛？
可是你这样会颜色会那个人味，对啊。你没关系，他的意思是说背后这个墙比较漂亮啊，对 ，OK， 是。好，那把它拿起来吧，就把。好。OK， 大家站着就好嘛，哈。 魏老师不来照，害羞。要不要再拿起来？因为你要照橘红色，好不好？橘红色。对，好。你要不要拿起来？那橘红色。我看下 poster。好，这样吗？可以吗？我刚刚 OK。
来，3、2、1，再一次哦，一个耶或赞。
口罩可以拿起来吧？
再来一次哦。
口罩要拿起来吗？大家。啊，谢谢你们大家，谢谢今天来，谢谢。对。
More coffee? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Wonderful.
Hello? Hello? What's your name?
Where you come from?
Andrew,
oh,
so
okay.
It's time for you
I
to
have
try to
some connection with Israel diplomacy here. Represented, yes, I already told this story to a German representative and also to so we are working together for some. So this is my name. Welcome. Give a talk. Really? You see that? Oh, can we have some connection together? So we can have some. Okay. So I agree a lot about Jew. I also have some translation about about Israel and Palestinian history. I do the translation from German to Chinese. 好，你问一个，谢谢，我们再回去聊，谢谢。So you 9 or something? What you are doing 9? You can read Chinese? Yes 啊，这么好，你来台湾多久了？好，你这中是 Sinology 汉学。大学孔子学院在哪里？New Hampshire. I was yes, I was in Stony Brook, Long Island. That's what I was told with my father's. 好，谢谢。你也是哈。This is mine. Okay. So you can receive. I will sometimes show the program of my Monday program. I also have some European history lecture. Something maybe you can join us as a witness. Do you have Jewish background? Yeah. Your family Jewish. What? Your ancestor where they come from? 你要送个贴图给我 ，You can send a sticker to me so I will see you.
Poland.
他们从犹太人，Poland and
like formerly the Ottoman Empire, but Greece.
Ottoman Empire, where Greece, Ottoman Empire, Ottoman people. So your both side, your grandparents come from. Half came from an old Jewish background, all Jewish. And so you have a kosher food every time you do you observe all this kind of synagogue? OK， 我用了。你好，你是？
我父亲也有在研究。
谢谢。所以欢迎来家，因为我们觉得它不应该只是一个人权的问题，它应该，我觉得它是一个创新的意思。我都是这样讲，然后所以我们之后会再继续办跟以色列跟德国合作。因为在台湾人大家都把它讲得很狭隘，这样子。好啊，跟你父亲还在吗？还在。他现在换到哪里？
现在换到静电师。
你妈妈是新疆家，对不对？对。哦，你不要，你还跟你讲你是破的小孩。我认识他。马法达的，对。那你怎么会来这里？我认识你啊，你爸好有趣，真的。他认识我，你刚刚讲王云轩，他认识我。好。 其实我其实没有真的在他们circle里，他很多人，因为他们有什么2代组织，然后去看什么地方，我就帮你安排。刚刚你加了嘛？哈，你有寄给我那个贴图嘛？哈，后的小孩，你不要这样子，你们家几个兄弟姐妹啊？啊，好，等一下我回去看，哎，我怎么没有办法进来？等一下。所以你认识 Caroline，OK， 好多认识，我认识他爸爸，一讲就知道，我就知道一讲就又姓蔡，好，那你在复方人寿室，现在在做，好啊，哇，你刚刚有送贴图给我哈，好，我现在看，那不好意思，这位朋友您是？你是日本，还好中文，所以我们要用英文嘛 ？OK，English、little bit. But my father's generation, they all know about they are very fluent in Japanese. I don't know. And 基隆中学 is actually all the alumni all Japanese. I didn't show a picture, but my father, the first travel allowed it to go abroad. He of course visited Japan, and all the classmates, his high school classmates, all together. So my father always have this kind of we have a lot of Japanese literature in the house, but I feel so and why you are here? Oh, yeah. Study here? You study and where you study? 淡江 ，OK。你是刚刚那个才是酒精啊你 OK。So you want to have a night? You want to have a condition? 你要 social media? 好，那我写英文给你好了。So you can have 中文他也没那么好，对不对 ？Chinese, so you are learning. 好，没关系。
来之前没有。
Actually, my program at 暖暖客厅其实 actually we have 我们很多 activity. So you are